jolly cooperation. In this unforgiving realm of desolation, despair, and defeat, it is one phrase able to soften the most hard of core and inspire praise. From helping with a challenging boss, simply clearing a level, honing your PvP acumen, and, well, whatever you crazy bastards end up doing, we all do it the same way. Soapstone, summon sign, mark, that deal there. This crazy doodle that is ubiquitous in the series. But what does it actually say, if anything? Is there some way to read it? Nope. Come back next week when we're going to talk about... I'm just kidding. Come on, I'll teach you how. Welcome to the Game Table. I'm Fauntus, and this is What's in a Name, the language of Dark Souls. Today we will test the hypothesis from last episode, and see if the crazy shit I keep spouting merits further study. How? We're going to use an obscure Elvish script to read English words in a Japanese video game. Really? But before the main event, let's get to know our contender. The Sarati is a featural script devised by J.R.R. Tolkien in his first Elvish script. It would later inspire the much more famous Tengwar, but Tolkien continued to work on Sarati, keeping diaries in the script. Diaries that have never been published, because all we know about Sarati comes from a small pool of articles and correspondence, sparsely released over decades, and often containing contradictory information, resulting in an enigma, obscure as it is mysterious, complicated as world tendency, and with difficulty equivalent to the Nameless King fight if he were to ride in on Sur alone instead of his dragon. Even the proficient find it almost impossible to get clear answers amid the murky ambiguity and contradictory descriptions offered by the creator. So, what's so difficult about Sarati? Truthfully, it's got a lot going for it. It's stylish, it's expansive, featural, which means that the sound and the shape of the character correspond, and being featural, Sarati can account for any phoneme or individual sound that can be made by a speaker. And actually that brings up one of the areas in which Sarati might be thought of as deficient. Specifically those areas of reading and writing. Such a large number of possible characters necessitates that languages written with Sarati must agree on specific subsets of recognized sounds, and then agree on grammar, including the use of vowels, because grammar and vowels in Sarati are done with little marks over the characters. So this makes it like a code. Each person who tries to read it has to have a pre-agreed notion on what they're actually going to be writing. But that problem, while substantial, brings opportunity, because Tolkien did identify some modes of writing, including their grammatical mode, for specific languages, one of which is English. That's our test. If Elvish was learned via English sources, then Elvish script found in the game should be intelligible when applying the phonetic English mode. This chart here is a small sample of the Sarati used in the phonetic English mode, as well as the vowels and some grammatical marks, called diacritics. The summon sign will be oriented left to right, top to bottom, as it is in English. Translated text will be along the bottom, with the Sarati in the top right. First letter we come to is an S, which means the following character should have a curl diacritic somewhere. The next character is a vowel carrier with the S diacritic, leaving our vowel a strong sound. Coming up next is an M. Upside down is often okay, but the big leg here directs us to double the sound. Afterwards we have a Sarat with a vowel diacritic, an O, above the consonant, an N. And after that we have an N, but in a position usually used for an ending character, and that's because of the large W coming off the back. Rather than being an indication of pronunciation, it's actually a clue that we have an upcoming diphthong, two vowel characters put together to make a combined sound. And indeed, the next character is a vowel carrier piled on with a O and a U, making like the sound in sound or now. And with the previous Sarati indicating the W, is a very deliberate way of indicating a diphthong and differentiating its pronunciation from Noah and now. Summon now. Well, nothing if not obvious in hindsight, seeing as an intelligible, properly spelled, grammatically correct phrase that is also thematically appropriate in context has been achieved. I believe I am able to say that using an obscure Elvish script to decipher English words in a Japanese video game is showing some promise and not yet prove false, leaving me free to continue spouting all manner of crazy shit for the time being. Note that no matter how well this may have gone, it does not prove a goddamn thing. One experiment, no matter how successful or awesome, can prove any hypothesis. Proof is only obtainable through replicability, accurate prediction, and consensus. 3 requirements I will never fill myself. But you can. Below, in the thing, I've linked to a place you can learn the Sarati, an honest and true internet hero at Amanye, Tenceli, a wonderful resource, which if it had existed some time ago, would have saved me from countless hours of finding fuzzy low-res article scans in badly moderated forums, with ugly color schemes arguing with a Hobbit guy from Archer. So check it out, and double check my work. Share this along too, and maybe one of you will be so inspired you'll translate the orange message sign. 'Cause that sure as shit won't be me. I'm sick of writing. I'm going back to names. But that'll be next time, on What's in a Name, the language of Dark Souls. I'm Fauntus, and okay, before we go, there is one more cool thing that Tolkien did with Sarati. Usually just his name, he would mirror the phrase onto a sort of symmetrical calligraphy. This works because Sarati is read by the distance from a central point and the orientation of characters to each other, not the orientation of the reader. When Sarati seen side by side from the perspective of the central point in Dark Souls 2, then Dark Souls 3, I can't help but notice they mirror perfectly. Coincidence? Maybe. But I find the idea of covert calligraphy over multiple iterations exceptionally charming. Too much to let go. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. I'm Fauntus. I will see you next time.